Hello everybody, I'm back here again. The reason I'm back here again is because I heard last night that Kev Baker has died. It was completely shocking. I mean, I'm still sort of can't really believe it. It's not really sunk in. I mean, I knew he was ill. I mean, he's been ill for a few years now. I don't think he's worked for about 2 or 3 years. He's been in and out of hospital. However, he was in hospital a couple of weeks ago, but he came home on Christmas Eve and he was with his family for Christmas, which is nice. And then I found out yesterday evening he'd gone back to hospital and then passed away. It's, I know a lot of you knew him. I know that Armand Adams was in the live chat on Reverend Bill Bean's tribute show last night. I stayed up for as long as I could. I had to go to bed in the end, but I did stay for as much as that live stream as I could. I think most of you know Kev Baker. I mean, if you watch me, you probably watch Kev Baker. We're very, very similar in our outlook and what we cover, the subjects we cover. Kev was really, I think, the difference between me and Kev, I think, was that Kev Baker was really, the passion he had for what he did was far more energetic than mine. I mean, I don't think hardly an evening went past ever without Kev doing a show. He was literally on. He was behind the mic every moment he could. I mean, even when he was ill, you know, he did have to skip a few shows for health reasons, but mostly he was like he would do a show no matter what. And he covered the same sort of subject I did, and he called it Serious Woo. He called it Serious Woo. And that was his name for it. He had his own names for things, and he called his listeners Wookiees. He had this unique voice, and it was unmistakable, you know, his unmistakable voice. And he was only 45, quite young these days. But yeah, he used to do things like the Loch Ness Monster and UFOs and various cover-ups. You know, computing, in terms of quantum computing and fringe science and things like that, black holes. He was into all that sort of thing on the Kev Baker Show, and it was a real flagship show on True Frequency Radio. And of course, you might have seen his YouTube channel as well. And he had a very active Discord server. He had an entire community of people. A lot of them they were in the live chat last night on Bill Bean's broadcast. And I think he may have been introduced at a young age to this sort of thing, because he came from Inverness, which a place I've been to, and it's right next door to Loch Ness, hence the name. There's the River Ness that runs through it, and there's also like there's a hill there in the cemetery where there's graves on the top of it, and apparently it's haunted by fairies, and so he was probably used to this sort of thing. I know that several members of his family were interested in this sort of thing. I know his mother Pearl was very interested and used to listen to him and listen to his show. She of course has my deepest condolences, as does his wife, his child. I think he had 2 children. But you know, they had my deepest condolences. It's terrific. And he moved to Glasgow. He was with his family in Glasgow, and that's where he became Mr. Glasgow Truther. That was his first name online. And his YouTube channel was originally called Mr. Glasgow Truther, and he became the Kev Baker Show. And it's very prolific stuff. I mean, all his channels there. I mean, watch his stuff on his channel. I mean, we're gonna try and get. I know someone who wants to try and get it archived. But, you know, YouTube channels are fairly robust. I first was introduced to Kev in 2015. I was on the Chris Everard show on TFR, and Kev heard me, and he decided he wanted. I did a couple of shows with. I did the Enemy Within show with Thomas Barnes as well, a couple of those. Kev heard me and thought I'd be interested to interview on his show. What can I say? You know, we did a great show together, and he decided he wanted me back, and I became a regular fixture. The third Tuesday of every month, I'd be on the show. Something I always look forward to. And all in all, we did 78 shows together. 78. They're all the Kev Baker shows. There was also a special one about Russia I did with him. I did a couple of round table shows, I think, maybe with Christopher Everard and a couple of other people. Can't quite remember. I think he was on it. Excuse me. Yeah, he'd actually booked me. He'd already booked me actually to be on the show on the 18th of this month, because I did a show with him just before Christmas, 19th of December. And he said, "You want to?" Whenever we finished the show, he'd always say, "Oh, let's book you in for the next one, Ben. Get your diary out." And he'd book me in for the next one. It was going to be the 18th of January. It's not going to happen now, of course. And the evening before the show, I'd always contact him and I'd give him a list of subjects I wanted to discuss. Usually, like, it was blog articles from Panmo Voice. And sometimes he'd add some topics too, because sometimes I couldn't think of enough, so he'd add some topics as well. Yeah. And I did manage to interview him once for Panmo Radio too. That was a great honour. I'm so glad I did that. I'm also glad that I met him once. I met him once at the Scottish UFO and Paranormal Conference in 2016. There's a link in the description box which just takes you to the article I wrote about Kev, and all the links to all those things are all in that article. Yeah, yeah, it really is. It's a very, very sad thing. Very sad thing to it's like with Gareth, of course. With him it was once a week. With Kev it was once a month. But they're both very similar. They're both guys that I really, really gelled with, and I used to look forward to speaking to. And Kev had such a sense of humour. He had such a style to him that was unique to himself. There'll never be another Kev Baker. That's for certain. Never, never. And my heart goes out to you all. Kev's wife, his mum, his dad, his children, his friends, all of you who knew him, all his listeners, the Wookiees, and all the other hosts on TFR. Jimmy Jeans is actually doing a tribute show tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be on it. It's 5 PM UK time. I'm going to be on that. I'm afraid all my other engagements this week I'm cancelling. So the Soylent Green watch party, the live stream about cryonics, all those things I'm afraid are going to have to wait for a little while, for a few days. But I'll probably do them maybe at the weekend or next week when I'm feeling up to it. And of course I will do a tribute show to Kev, like a live stream at some point, but not now. Maybe in a few weeks. As the last time when we lost these other people, it's just too raw at the moment. I need to give it a bit of time before I do these things. A few weeks, and I'll do a tribute show for Kev, a live stream. This does really feel like a run of bereavements, doesn't it? And I don't know when it's going to end. The first, of course, was Ian R. Crane. It's within the last 12 months we've lost Ian R. Crane. And then Gareth Davis. And then a lady you may not know, actually, because she's someone I dealt with really through her Panmo Radio. And that's Shirley Bolstock, who was a psychic medium, who was very, very important because she was part of helping the authors of various researchers, including the authors of the new Paul McCartney book, Shadow of the Bassman, Mary Ann Howard and Anne Walsh. And she basically was in touch with Paul McCartney from the other side, and she died too. And now Kev's gone. Just makes me think, who's next? I don't know how many more times I can go through this, just having to say goodbye to dear people I love. people I respect, people I consider great friends, great comrades, great space brothers in arms. I don't know how many more times I can go through this. Why now? I know what the skeptics will say, it's just a coincidence, but it just feels like there's people. It just feels like there's people leaving the Earth, like they're leaving this planet, like, and leaving their lives, their human lives here, like the elves leaving Middle Earth. That's what it feels like. And of course, in the book, the elves leaving Middle Earth, it was actually a prelude. They started leaving the Earth just before the War of the Ring, which was what was covered by the Lord of the Rings books. And it does feel like that. It feels maybe these souls are deciding to leave the Earth and leave it for other types of souls. I don't know. And of course, as I've said before, you know, I'm confident that Kev's gone, and he won't be forgotten. But he's not really gone. He's still out there somewhere. I don't know where. Feels an awfully long way away, wherever it is. But I do believe he's out there, and I think I've got a good chance of seeing him again one day. And that's not because of any religious belief. It's because of my studies of psychical research. I can't prove it. I don't know for certain, but I'm pretty confident. But right now he's just gone. He's gone from. I'm in this world, and I'm of this world, and he's left this world, and that is very sad. So that's all I want to say right now. I'll think of more things to say in the coming days and weeks, and I will do a tribute show to him in a few weeks' time. And I'll do the other things I was going to do in a few days or next week sometime. Okay, and thanks for all your replies on the comments reply video. I appreciate that. I've already had a look through them all, and they're very interesting. And it's only yesterday I uploaded it, so I wasn't planning to upload a video today, but then this happened. So thank you for those comments, much appreciated. They all look very interesting to me, so thanks very much. Okay guys, well I'll see you soon. Alright, keep watching the channel and take care. And that's for Kev. Rest in peace, bro, as you used to say. Never forget you, mate. I'll never forget you.